So I had an interesting experience yesterday that made the whole idea of the difference between self-reg and self-control in a moment really come to life. So here's what happened. It was really nice here, and my daughter was out on her bike, booting it around. We live on a street that's actually, there's a lot of construction still going on, but it's a circle, so she can go very safely around this circle. And it's gravelly. She was going out with a friend from next door neighbor, went a little too fast, and I think she was coming down the hill fast and slammed on her front brake. Anyway, all I know is that, the door opens. I'm in the living room. I have a friend here, and his son's here with us. And the door opens, and there's no sound. So that's not really typical. And I just didn't think much of it. And a couple seconds later, I said, you, Sienna? And you could hear she'd been hurt, right? So over I run. Do you do that? Can't breathe and you run because you know your child's hurt. And sure enough, she's all banged up. She had long pants on, thank heavens, but it's ripped right through the knee, and there's blood. You can see bleeding in there, and that she's scraped up pretty good, and scrape on the hands. Mostly, I think it was upset about it all. So what happens is, I know her so well, and I take her over to the couch, and I realize in retrospect I'm very self-reg in a situation like this. And so anyway, I get her over to the couch, and get her wrapped in a blanket, get her lying down, and I go into self-reg mode. My focus as a self-regger is on two things. It's recognizing that she's total red brain, she's totally dysregulated. You know, her limbic system is just, I mean, she's very upset. So I'm just worried about, in self-reg, we worry about two things, energy and tension. So I'm trying to balance her energy and her tension. And that's a very different approach when you see it from the outside. So over comes my friend, his name's Peter, and he comes over and he's trying to help, right? It bothers him that he sees her upset, and and he's talking too much probably, and telling, oh, it's not so bad, and all of those sorts of things that we do, and those are very self-control, which is just a way of kind of saying, suppress it, right? That's really what those messages are all about. Oh, you'll be fine, or that happened to me, and these sorts of things. Down comes my mom, who is worried about, very practical, she's a nurse, or was a nurse, and so she's worried about, the gravel that's in the knee. And anyway, every time anybody tries to do anything and touch her, Sienna who's a sensitive kid when it comes to pain, she, freaks out more. And, starts crying and saying, no, 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 and people are trying to get pride. It's just mass chaos. And so, I said, okay, you guys need to stop, and they did, kind of, and I did what I do, which is just soothe Sienna, and I stayed with her. I got her the blanket. I got her. I had my mom get her a cloth with some cold water. It's not really about the sore. It's about the energy and tension, right? I needed to bring her back down. My worry was really about that. And it was interesting that my friend made a comment about, women respond differently. And I think that's true. There was some nurturing in there for sure. But that's an instinctual thing. It was also very self-reg. And, here's what I've been thinking about today. So that difference between how we respond, a self-control response is still trying to help, right? So when we're trying to say, oh, you'll be okay, or, kind of toughen up, stiff upper lip, or that, that happened to me. And, then he went in to try to make her laugh and stuff, and, but it's trying to get it under control, get the emotions, get everything that's just bursting out of her. And that's what we do, right? We do lots of that. That's really normal. If you watch TV, that's what you're going to see. When a kid gets hurt, you're going to see conversations like that. Where my approach was, in retrospect, was really, really self-reg. Because, so if I look at the biological domain, yes, her knee needs to get cleaned. But the last thing I want to do was send her into add to her stress load. She was just wailing I mean, there was so much on her, so many different layers of things that were going on in all the domains, right? Biological, emotion, even cognitive, trying to pay attention, and listen to me, and you're hearing things repeated and repeated. The social, right? And, this had happened with her friend, the pro-social, worried about what other people think, and just trying to be all of those things, like just bursting, right? And I was not worried about the dirt in the knee, which is an interesting one, because it seems like this urgency, we got to get it out of there that second. Well, we could wait 5 minutes. That's really all it was. And so I focused on her energy and her tension. I focused on calming, right? I kept my voice calm, even with the others, when I literally told them, you need to back off. But I did it in a calm way. I said, I told her that she's going to be fine, and got her blanket, which is soothing for her, and just kind of sat with her. And then she took care of it. So I took care of the self-reg. I regulated her energy and tension. And then she was to be able to get enough of that blue brain back online, to get enough centered to take care of the self-control pieces herself, right? Self-reg makes self-control possible. And she'll know what to do next time, because she's the kind of kid that needs a couple of minutes, right? She just needs a couple of minutes. And then she'd be able to take care of it, right? And she did. She washed it, we bandaged it, she figured it all out, and she was bouncing around in no time. So that was my little lesson. It's kind of neat as a mom who tries to live this stuff, to notice when you actually do, and you weren't trying to, but it came out in the moment. But I think there's some important takeaways for us there as parents as well. And this applies to teachers, because one of the reasons that the adults were trying so hard to, to fix things, really that's what they're trying to do, fix the problem, the knee, right? Or the perception of how serious the knee was, is because of our own pro-social stress. It's very draining to see someone else, that is in crisis. Oh, and a little one that you can't soothe. I mean, that really yanks on our hearts, and it pulls from us, yeah, in the pro-social domain. And so we're actually trying to calm our own stress. We're trying to calm our own stress, because as soon as we can get her feeling better, that child, that friend, then we feel better ourselves too. So that's my thought of the day. And remember, self-reg first, then self-control. It will come. It really will. Bye.